Hi, and welcome to this video about using and customizing sounds and notifications within the Action Machine. Now, since the Action Machine is time management software, helping you to manage what you need to do and when you need to do it, as you can imagine, sound plays an important part in its overall functionality. So sounds are used in the following ways within the software. First of all, ticking, alarms, and notifications. So let's look at each one of these in a little bit more detail. First of all, ticking. Whenever you begin a timer, by default, a ticking sound will also begin to play. Now, this is a simple audio cue to help remind you that the timer is counting down and that you should be taking action on something while you hear it. In most cases, ticking will stop when the timer is either paused or completed, just like a physical timer. Now, the only exception to this is when more than one timer is currently playing. And in this case, ticking will only stop when all timers are either paused or completed. Alright, that makes sense. That's the way it should work, right? Next, alarms. The functionality of alarms within the Action Machine are pretty straightforward. When a timer completes as a result of a timer counting down completely, it triggers the sounding of an alarm to alert you that it has completed. Simple enough. And finally, there are notifications, and notifications are a special type of alarm triggered whenever a timer reaches a specific time during its countdown. So there are two types of notifications. There are alert notifications indicated by this icon right here, and there are recurring notifications as indicated by this icon right here. And notifications are configurable using these two sliders right here, alert and recurring. So let's look at how each of these notifications work. First of all, alert notifications. Now, the idea behind an alert notification is very simple. When a timer has reached the minute point indicated on the alert slider, which in this case is 6, meaning 6 minutes, a notification sound will play. And when this notification is triggered, the alarm will repeat based on the number of minutes the slider is set for. So, for example, when a slider is set for 6, the alarm will play in a loop 6 times when it is triggered. And this is done for a couple of reasons. First, to give you an audio reference of how much time you have left, so 6 repeats would mean 6 minutes, and to distinguish it from the recurring notification, which doesn't ever repeat. Now, this notification is useful because it acts as a bit of an advanced warning of sorts, letting you know that a timer is about to complete. Knowing this allows you to either quickly wrap up the action that you're currently working on, or to go and add more time to a timer if you assess that you need it. If you figure out you need more time to complete the action. Now, the next notification is the recurring notification, and recurring notifications are triggered whenever a timer reaches a time that is a multiple of the time indicated on the recurring slider, which in this case is 30. So, for example, if this is set, the recurring slider is set to 30, then a recurring notification will play whenever a timer has counted down to the 30, 60, 90, 120, 150 minute point, and so on. Okay? And this type of notification is especially useful for helping you to manage any actions that have scheduled work that you've scheduled to work on for an hour or more. So, for example, let's say that you've created a 3-hour timer to work on your taxes. So let's say that this is a 3-hour timer that we're going to change the name of this to work on taxes and hit OK. So we now have this 3-hour project of working on our taxes. Now, obviously you wouldn't want to work on your taxes for the entire 3 hours without a break. So in this scenario, you'd likely set the recurring slider to 30 and then start the timer. And at the 2-hour and 30-minute point of the timer's countdown, this particular timer, once this gets down to 2 hours and 30 minutes, you'd hear a notification alarm indicating to you that it would be a good time to take a break, which you would click the break timer to take a break for that. And then after the break, you'd start the timer again. And then at the 2-hour point of the countdown for this timer, you'd hear the recurring notification again, letting you know that it's time to take another break. Now it's important to note that the alert notification, this right here, has precedence over the recurring notification. And what that means is that if the timer reaches a time which has the potential to trigger both types of notifications, both the alert and recurring, well, the alert notification is the only one that will be triggered. So keep that in mind when you're using the notification alarms. Now let's talk about some of the audio options that you have available to you. So the Action Machine contains several basic audio options that allow you to select from several different ticking, alarm, and notification sounds, or to just simply disable the sounds altogether. And to access these, you click the audio options button right here to the right of the interface. And this will pop out a little slider panel for allowing you to choose the options that you want. So using the audio options panel is pretty straightforward. Selecting an option will not only preview it, but it will automatically set that to your sound choice. So you can select any of these, and when you do that on your particular computer, you'll hear a preview of that particular sound, and the Action Machine will automatically choose that sound as the default sound. Now the volume of the sounds within the Action Machine, it's important to realize that they're all universal, meaning that the alarm, the ticking sound, and the notification sounds will all play at the same volume, so they can't be set individually. But the universal volume for these sounds is controlled using the volume controller at the bottom right of the interface, which is right here. So all you need to do is to change the volume of the universal sounds is just move the slider up and down, or click somewhere. If you want to set it to 90, you just move your mouse till you get to 90, click, and it will automatically move the slider there. And at the bottom of this controller is the mute button right here that will allow you to quickly mute all sounds just in case you get a phone call or somebody needs to talk to you or something like that. So that's using sounds and notifications and how to configure them to suit your needs.